business news from the Capital Region. This is Washington Business Report with ABC7 national correspondent Rebecca Cooper.
Welcome to this week's fresh look at business and finance in the Washington region. Coming up, a true fashion icon. So successful, Google Glass came to her to design their new look. Plus, how does a small family-owned restaurant stand out in a market filled with great options? We visit a Korean restaurant in Annandale for the answer. And on our roundtable today, we're going to go to the highest court in the country, what this week's Supreme Court decisions really mean, and what ripple effect could be felt by the business community. But first, her designs are known worldwide. When she married a German prince in 1969, she became Her Serene Highness Princess Diane of Furstenberg. Well, she hasn't held that title since her divorce from the prince, but many call her the queen of the fashion world. Now, at the age of 67, Diane von Furstenberg is still going strong. She sits on the board of Vital Voices, a group that empowers emerging female leaders and social entrepreneurs around the world, as well as still running her iconic company. In our one-on-one interview, she told me how she's been touched by many of those women with vital voices. Diane von Furstenberg, welcome to Washington
Hi.
Business Report. You are more busy than you've ever been in your business life.
I am.
And yet you're here in Washington supporting Vital Voices. Tell us why this is an important part of your philanthropic work.
Oh, I mean, Vital Voices is really the day I discovered Vital Voices, I felt that I had met my voice. It was everything they stand for is what I believe in, which is really about empowering women, giving women the support so that they can pull out their strength and help their community. And all these women that we have honored and all these women that I have met through Vital Voices are just the most extraordinary women I've ever met. Not only they survive their own misery, but they use that and to help others and are incredibly inspirational.
And it is about teaching women to use power well and to own their power. You have consistently been named to Ford's Most Powerful Women list, very close to the top. I think
my son
just
saw it yesterday. We went flying from LA with my son, and he's looking at Forbes and said, "Oh, look, Mom, you're one of the most powerful women in the world." Really? He said. So.
And you've been for many years just behind Beyonce, ahead of Anna Wintour and many other fashion legends, but you are an industry powerhouse. Do you think, as a woman who has power, that women know how to own their power, especially in the business world?
You know, we never, I mean, I have power. What does that mean? That I can help people to have a voice. And that's what really power is, that you have a voice, right? And maybe you get an easy appointment at the doctor's. But it's really, that you have a voice. And that, I think, is the most important. If you can help others who have no voice by using your voice, I think that is probably the most meaningful thing you get with success.
How did you teach that young Diane von Furstenberg to feel her power? You launched your company when you were 24 years old. You've written in your book, one of your books, that it was when you agreed to marry your husband and become a princess, a German princess, that then you decided, I must have a career, I must be self-sufficient. That's not the route that many people take when they become a princess. So how did you teach that young woman to have courage and power and establish an empire?
I think, when I was a young girl, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew the kind of woman I wanted to be. And I did want to be a woman who is independent. And in order to be independent, you have to be financially independent. And I had started already to think about what I was going to do. And then I got married very, very quickly because I was expecting my son. But that didn't change me from wanting to be independent. And I became that. And I became that through this little dress. And that little dress was, gave me confidence, and as I was getting confidence, I was sharing my confidence with that dress. So
you're talking about the iconic Diane von Furstenberg wrap dress, the dress that many people say defined feminism and gave women this feeling of
well, this year
we're
celebrating the 40th anniversary of the wrap and of the wrap dress, and we had a big retrospective, a big exhibition at LACMA in LA, and for the first time ever, I realized what the dress, how powerful it had been. And I realized that I wasn't powerful. It was the dress that was powerful.
You are not.
And I just was a conduit for it.
That is not true. I have read all of your books. I am a big admirer of yours. You had to, as a young woman who just a year before had met with Diana Vreeland of Vogue magazine to try and become a model, and were not successful in the ways of being a model despite your beauty, and had to go back a year later, and somehow have the confidence in yourself to present this fashion line to her, and she saw your talent. And then you would work hard nights in cold warehouses, in the customs
and I still
warehouses.
do. You know, I mean, the truth is that I just finished, I mean, I'm on the last words of a new book called The Woman I Wanted to Be, and it's coming out in November. And what you realize is that, you know, it's like a roller coaster, your life. And it doesn't matter how powerful you get to be, you still some days feel like a total loser, you know? And I think it's nice for people to know that, because we all feel like losers. It's just how we deal with feeling like that that makes a difference. But to go back to Vital Voices, I mean, I feel like I have accomplished nothing when I listen to those women from Vital Voices. It's really quite humbling.
And so many of these women do remind me of the lessons that you learned from your own mother, a Holocaust survivor, a woman that no one thought would survive. She was so painfully thin when she got out of Auschwitz. They told her never to have children. And one of the lessons you say she taught you was fear is not an option.
That's right, that's right. I was born 18 months after. And so my birth was a miracle, and so I mean, that was what, you know, that birth being a miracle was my duty that was my flag of freedom, and I had to carry that and go by it. You see, I have never met a woman who is not strong. All women are strong, but very often they're afraid they're not showing it. It's a husband, a brother, a father, a religion, or sometimes they don't have the strength to bring it out. And then all of a sudden a tragedy happens, and miraculously everybody's strength, every woman's strength comes out. So I would say let's bring the strength out before the tragedy comes.
You were the queen of cool in the 70s. Your brand was widely distributed in the 80s. You made your big comeback in the 90s. Now Princess Kate is wearing you, Michelle Obama is wearing you, and Google is pinning their hopes on you making Google glasses cool on the catwalk. So you look at your career and think, how did she keep forging ahead and coming back again and again? And I have to wonder, what was it that gave you that fortitude to just
I don't know. You know, it's different motivation. At the beginning, it was to be financially independent. Then I lost my company. Then I started again. It was about showing myself and the world that it hadn't been an accident the first time around. And now is like, okay, let's take the body of my work and what's behind the spirit of it, and let's try to turn it into something that is inspiring to women, you know, and to empower women.
Diane von Furstenberg, thank you so much for joining us on Washington Business Report.
Thank you.
A beautiful woman inside and out and a brilliant business mind. Our thanks to Diane von Furstenberg. And coming up, a Korean barbecue owner whose experience in high-end hotels has helped her return to the family business and make it one of the most talked about restaurants in the region.